first certification calls where you have to jump in line and press star 61 to wait for your turn to speak to Mark Cole. I finally got in. I finally got on the call and I said, hey, Mark, it's good to hear your voice on this side of the fence right now. And he was like, what are you talking about? Right.
Yeah.
And I said, you would not know this, but you've been mentoring me for the past 2 years behind prison walls. And at that moment, I had his attention.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful hello. I love that. Yeah. You had him in the palm of your hand because he was influential in your life without even knowing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
As I started sharing my story about how I evolved with John Maxwell and how I started facilitating masterminds and started leading through speaking and coaching behind prison, I used to use DISC personality assessments to teach my class too. And the list went on. And Mark just stopped me dead in my tracks. He said, Tuan, I got to ask you something. Hey, are you in mentorship? I said, Mark, I can't even afford to get on mentorship. So mentorship is just another level that we pay for on the John Maxwell team. And I was like, Mark, I'm still paying off my certification right now. I don't even have the money to join mentorship.
You're talking my situation now. It's like, I just keep knowing that God's going to have it all happen, and I keep eating pretty good and traveling where I need to go, and never know how I'm going to meet tomorrow's bills, but the Lord's providing for me.
Absolutely. Mark stops me, Steve, and he says, hey, Tuan, you're an eagle, my friend. You're soaring right now, and I love your story. He goes, as a matter of fact, this is what me and my wife want to do. I don't even think he asked his wife. I think he just said, hey, look, here's what me and my wife want to do for you right now.
Beautiful.
He said, I want to sponsor you into mentorship so you can have access to all of us, because I believe that you're going to do some great things in prison and you need to be in mentorship. And bam, here I am going next level, getting paid into mentorship, which is a couple $1,000s at that time. And so I'm watching God work here in my life. And this was maybe like 30 days when I got out of prison. Okay. About a month later, I'm on another call with Mark and I'm sharing with him the updates of what is going on inside the prison. And leading up to March was where I was supposed to book a flight to go to Florida to get my certification with maybe 3,000 other members worldwide in Orlando World Marriott Center. And I'm on the call with Mark again. I'm sharing the success of that of what's going on in our prison because of the John Maxwell effect of leadership. And let me tell you something, Steve. I gotta stop in and say this. There's a lot of men in there that could care less about hearing about Jesus, but let me tell you what everybody does want to hear about. They want to hear. They want to hear that they're a leader. They want to hear that they've been called into leadership. And one of the most important things I've learned during that time when I was teaching leadership class was never impose your faith. I used to always tell the guys that I was facilitating with, I said, hey, look, this is a leadership communication class. And when you come here, don't ever use this platform to proselytize or impose your faith on no one. Because let me tell you why. You don't like it when people impose their faith on you. So don't use this platform to do that. This is about leadership. And you know what I realized? Man, I had Muslims, I had atheists, I had people of all different religions come to this class because we focused on developing the leader within them versus imposing our faith and driving religion or Christianity or whatever you want to call it down their throats.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you, Steve, the faith aspect, the gospel came in so easy because everything that we taught about was biblically based. But you needed to call the leadership hunger out of them to where now they don't have any barriers now because they're starting to see that, hey, I am a leader. And the model of leadership that you're teaching us right now, I want that. And it's so easy to bring Jesus in at this point. It's so easy.
But it starts with showing the love. Just right. It starts with his love. Yeah. We could go for part 3, 4, 5, 6 for the rest of our lives, but absolutely beautiful. Lefford's talked a whole lot about John Maxwell and some of the things that go on. One of Lefford's wonderful expressions is about what you just said. It's through me. It's him through me. It's not me.
Right.
It's through me. And that's powerful. My version of what you just spoke to is the song by the Youngbloods, Get Together. You know the song? Come on, people, smile at your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. That was my initial theme song in prisons, because I learned that I love everybody to start with. And I don't want to go into the prison environment and alienate anybody because they have a different faith. They have a different whatever. And so I just do it from the cosmos. I start off saying, I love everybody. Martians, Venetians, Neptunians. So I go as far as I can. Then I bring it back a little bit, and then I give every color. And I don't mean to do it from one of those, organizations that's out there now that's under the rainbow colors. It's fine. But here's what I do. I said, I love everybody. Red, green, brown, black, blue, pink, yellow, doesn't matter. And then I start listing every religion and faith that I can think of that pop into my head. I just, whatever, Christian, Catholic, Jew, Hindu, atheist, if that's called a religion, I just list it all out as far as I can. And I say, I love everybody. And I don't care what you are or what you did. I'm here because I love you. And that's my platform. Yeah. So let me ask you a question while we're on that subject.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people are very, very interested. I get asked 1,000 questions when people that know I go into prison so much, and they want to know what it's like. Here's the question I want to ask you without going into the whole culture. So it is a community, and it is as part of a society. It's just different from what people generally experience. It is. And there's people that really want to learn. There's people that haven't got started yet. They need to be motivated a little bit or come to terms. But I find that a lot of people that are ready to learn everything they can, that want to change, sometimes they're in close contact with a lot of people that don't want, they're the opposite of encouraging them. They actually are uncomfortable with it. And there's, in other words, have you ever had experiences in prison where, because of your beautiful nature to help other people, have had some people that want to calm you down in silence?
Are you talking about people coming in ministry and have other people try to shut you down?
No, inmates that have a jealousy and a contempt for you because you're moving towards success and they're not. That's what I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I know that's what I want to hear some about. I don't want to go too negative here, but not everybody likes the guy that's going to succeed in prison, because I learned human nature when I was a very, very young person. I mean, I made study of human nature as an elementary school kid, with Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill when I was young, etc. Everybody used to say that the way of the world is that people want to pull you down. People don't want to let you succeed because they're in a bad place and they want to keep you down with them. I mean, prison's got a lot of that in it. And, and it can be dangerous.
Right.
We don't have to talk about it. I just was trying to acknowledge to people that it's not just like going to the college of your choice and everybody's respecting each other. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. So that kind of leads me back to a memory where I was one of the community leaders at that time. And so I invested. Here's what I want the audience to know. What you spend most of your time doing is what you will become.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the honest truth. I spend most of my time in walking with my relationship with God through Jesus Christ. I spend most of my time investing in my leadership and my communication skills. And so everything involved in investing in myself and becoming a person of value. It wasn't more of a skill set. I began investing in my gift more than anything, because nowhere in the Bible that I have recalled does it say that education will make room for you. Your job will make room for you. I believe in Proverbs 18:16. I want to quote from this. It says, a man's gift will make room for him and bring him before great men. Okay. And that deposit that God has placed inside you, I've learned now that my number one duty as a leader in this world, in this generation, is to transfer the deposit that God has placed inside me. Okay.
Good transition here. I want to know how you do that, and I'd like to hear some of the people that have benefited from your involvement.
Right. So everything starts with knowing who you are. One of the greatest questions that I've learned now is the who are you question. And for 90% of the people in prison and maybe in the world, that question is never asked or is never answered. And I've seen so many guys, and I'm sure you can relate, Steve. I mean, when you ask people those questions, or here's another tough question. Hey, Steve, what are your strengths versus your weaknesses? Huh? I don't know. I used to get that all the time. And I grew up, Steve, with hearing this a lot from people around me that loved me, that supported me, that believed in me, but lacked one thing. They lacked showing me. Okay. So it's great that you believe in me and that you can inspire and motivate. I need you to show me. I need you to show me. And one thing I grew up listening and hearing all the time was, Tuan, you got great potential, my friend. Great potential, buddy. You're going to do great when you grow up. And as a child, as a teenager growing up, I knew I had potential. I never knew what that looked like. I grew up hearing you can be whatever you want to be. And so growing up, I began entertaining that belief right there that I could be whatever I wanted to be if I just tried hard enough. And I came crashing because I realized that the only person that I could be was Tuan Nguyen. You see? And let me use this analogy. I used to get so frustrated in leadership because I was a good motivator. I mean, I know how to encourage people with my communication, Steve, and people will be inspired by me and they would take action. Here's what I didn't have. Early in my leadership, I had ability. What I didn't have was I didn't have the ability to recognize another person's ability. And that's one of the greatest detriments in people in prison ministry that are coming in. Yeah. They got great ability coming in, teaching and preaching and doing all that. What they're lacking is the ability to recognize what I'm good at. And so how can you motivate me into my potential if you can't recognize who I'm created to be? And so so let's be transparent and candid. Of course, prison ministries are great, but we need some coaches coming in. You see, we don't lack faith. I've seen men come to chapel every single night and raise their hands and surrender their lives to Christ. Faith aspect is not missing in the prison culture. What we need is people coming in and cultivating us up into leadership and asking us great questions. We need coaches. You know, we don't, I mean, honestly, I don't, you know, where I came from, I mean, we don't need more people preaching the gospel because honestly, I can get on the radio, Steve, and I can hear some of the most dynamic sermons at night when I'm sleeping. I can wake up hearing a sermon. And so for you to come in and do the same thing this person's doing on the radio, I mean, it's great. You can preach a dynamic word, but what I'm lacking is leadership skills because that's what happened to me. I left with the faith and believing in myself. I didn't know how to lead myself when I got out. And then, and we mentioned, we talked about this on a previous call. Now, the same churches that were coming in and inspiring me and motivating me and helping me push towards, just walking with the Lord. Now I'm coming in and I'm knocking on your church door. And now all of a sudden you don't know who I am. We don't got no room for you here to serve because it was safe when I came into your building where you were still confined, where, I come in for a couple of hours a week and it was great. But now when I'm coming home and I'm in regular clothing, oh, it's a different story now, Steve. Come on, somebody. I'm preaching.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you keep going because I know it. You're telling the truth here.
And I mean, that's just the honest truth. I'm not saying that every prison ministry is not effective, but what I'm seeing is just a redundancy of everybody doing the same thing.
Well, they don't go to the next level. They just give you the message. They show you what the gospel is, but they're not giving you the love and the tools to use it and to apply it. And that's the problem. And I hate to say it, but, some of it's a check in the box, so to speak, because it sounds real good on the pulpit on Sunday to be talking about how me and a couple other elders here, we went to such and such an institution and we were with 45 different people and 17 of them took the altar call. Yeah. Well, how many returning citizens attend your church regularly right now?